Hello everyone and welcome to another special game from round 7 of this year's Global Chess League. It is Richard Rapport versus Gukesh and it's a beautiful Giuoco Piano game. You guys will enjoy it, and I kept wondering just how much Rapport and Ding prepared the Giuoco Piano for the World Chess Championship match, because of course you know that Ding opened his games with either c4 or d4. He played either some sort of a Queen's Gambit setup or he went for the English, and he did not play e4-1, so they did not prepare the Italian game with the white pieces. But Nepo was an e4 player. He played e4 in all of the games, and even though Nepo did go for the Ruy Lopez in all of them, I'm sure they did prepare the Giuoco Piano because, well, what do you know, maybe Nepo will go for the Italian game at some point. So if you remember what Fabiano Caruana said after his World Chess Championship match against Magnus, he said that okay, he didn't use all of his preparation during the World Chess Championship match, but maybe he had enough preparation to, you know, play any tournament and he will crush everyone, and then maybe, you know, in a few tournaments after that he will have some leftover preparation from the World Chess Championship match. So what Ding knows for his World Chess Championship match against Nepo, you can be sure that Rapport knows, and I'm very interested to see what they have prepared for or against the Giuoco Piano. So let's check it out. We have pawn to e4 by Rapport, pawn to e5 by Gukesh, knight to f3, knight to c6, and bishop to c4. We have bishop to c5, and no, we do not see the Evans Gambit here. We have c3, the main line of the Giuoco Piano, and well, let's see what he or they prepared. Knight to f6, we have pawn to d3, pawn to d6, and now castles. This is the absolute main line, and here a6 is the top move. But Gukesh plays pawn to a5. This is like the 5th or 6th most popular idea, but it has been played quite a lot by none other than Magnus Carlsen, and Magnus never lost a game with this a5 move. And of course you understand why a5 is played: to stop pawn to b4, White's strongest move in any position. And of course you want to play a4, a3, and then well, undermine White's queen side. So okay, and Magnus played it. He played it against Duda. He played it against Nepo. He played it against Wesley. He played it against Veselin Topalov. So yeah, it's a very good move. We have rook to e1. We have pawn to h6 and knight b to d2. We have castles and pawn to h3. So fairly standard Italian game moves. We have a4 and now knight to f1. The knight is coming to g3. We have bishop to d7 and pawn to d4. We have bishop to b6 and knight to g3. So again, all standard moves. Rook to e8, and now there are a couple of games that reach this position. There's even a game that I covered in 2018. Fabiano Caruana played it against Zviadi Zoria, where Fabi continued with bishop to f1, but Fabi lost that game. In case you haven't seen it, do check it out. It's from my old apartment with my old setup, and you can see Medo sleeping in the back on the couch. It will be first link in the description below if you also want to check that out. But okay, here we have rook to e2. It's a new move, so now as of move 13 we have a completely new position. Or a completely new game. Now, the idea is, of course, you want to add more protection to the f2 pawn, and Black's main idea here is to play queen to b8, queen to a7, and now you already have the f2 pawn defended, so it's, you know, it's definitely a nice move, and you can now develop the queen, develop the bishop, you can maybe double up on the e-file, so very, you know, just a lot of ideas here. Queen to b8, Gukesh continues with this plan, with bishop to e3, and now e captures on d4. Now, you can't capture with the c pawn because the e4 pawn is hanging. You have to play bishop captures on d4. Now the knight and rook are nicely defending the pawn, and knight captures on d4. We have c captures, and now bishop to c6. And here, okay, you have the standard trade-off. White has the strong knights, white has the strong center, black has the mighty bishop pair, and if this bishop pair becomes fully operational, then, well, it's no mystery how this game will end. So pawn to e5, and not allowing Gukesh to continue with any of his plans. And now what do you do here? Do you capture or do you move the knight? Well, point is, if you capture, it's actually playable, but you know, it's a really weird line. D captures, now bishop captures on f3, so you have to give up one of your bishops, and now after g captures you play c6. That's the point. Now you cannot capture the knight because of queen captures on g3, the f2 pawn is pinned, and you have to play something like f4, but even with the slightly ruined white king's position, you still have the strong center. Black lost the bishop pair, so white is the one to be preferred here. So after e5, we have knight to d5. Gukesh says, I'm not giving up the bishop pair just for that. Rook to e4. And it's no mystery where this rook is headed. The rook is, of course, headed to g4, and there it will put pressure on black's king side. We have queen to d8. The queen now wants to help out with the defense of the king, and rook to g4. We have king to h8, moving the king off of the g file, and now the immediate knight to f5, just going after that g7 pawn. And how can Gukesh defend this? Well, it's not going to be easy, and there's no great move for black here. Gukesh opts for bishop to d7, which asks the question, what are you even doing here? I'm going to attack your knight, and if you move it, I'm going to pick up your rook. And here Rapport could just prepare the attack with knight 3 to h4, but he doesn't. He goes for knight captures on g7 right away, and he offers the rook on g4 for the rook on e8. And should you play this? Well, it seems that this is the best course of action for Gukesh, but he did not play it. I will just quickly show it. Bishop captures on g4, knight captures here, and now if you go for an all-out trade, let's say bishop captures, queen captures, now queen captures on e8, you finish by capturing the knight on d5, and now the f7 pawn is hanging. That's the problem. The b7 pawn is hanging. That's another problem. And also queen to f6 check followed by e6 is another problem, and you cannot parry all of these threats. Maybe with some, you know, super engine precision, you can defend this and not lose, but I seriously doubt it. So instead, Gukesh does not go for this. He goes for rook to g8. Sorry about that. He goes for rook to g8, and now we have queen to d2. Now, queen to d2 might not be the most optimal setup. Rook to h4 is the most optimal setup here, but we have to remember this is a rapid game, so you don't have time to analyze, you know, during the game. But I will just show why. The point is that you prepare queen to d2 with rook to h4, as it comes with the threat of capturing on h6, and after king captures, now you play bishop captures on d5, and after black plays any move, let's say c6, now you have queen to d2. But now queen to d2 is different because it comes with the threat of checkmate, so it's a slight improvement. So okay, queen to d2 right away. We have rook captures on g7, and now again rook to h4 is the move, but Rapport trades right away. Rook captures, we have king captures, and bishop captures on d5. They were both playing really fast, like none of them were in time trouble at any point in the game. So here pawn to c6, d captures on e5 is the move that you have to play, but c6 was played by Gukesh, and now he allows even bishop captures on f7. And Rapport just you know, continues merrily sacrificing pieces, and this isn't even a piece sacrifice, because if you capture, queen captures on h6, and now you are up 3 pawns. That's, I mean, that's a lot. You can even trade everything and go for the endgame. You will have 3 pawns, for example, against the bishop, and you are very happily playing that endgame. Of course, it will not come to that because white will you know, utilize his advantage before it comes to that, but you know, it's not the best. Instead of this, Gukesh played queen to e7. Again, you should capture on e5 at least once, but he played queen to e7, and now Rapport is completely winning, but only if you find one very specific idea. So feel free to pause the video and win the game for Richard while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on realizing that we need to open up this diagonal for the white queen in order to win. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is pawn to e6. That's the move. And the idea is, of course, next we play pawn to d5, we open up this diagonal, and it's game over for the black king. So it's not possible to defend this. Gukesh tries one idea, and that is bishop captures on e6. This stops d5 for the moment, because after bishop captures and queen captures, okay, now you don't really have any use of playing d5 right away, but Rapport finds a way. Queen to b4. The bishop is attacked, and if you move the bishop, then the b7 pawn falls, and you cannot defend the bishop. The queen cannot defend the bishop. The only way to defend the bishop is rook to a6, but that's a very passive move to play. It is the strongest move to play, just a very passive one. So Gukesh forced to play it, and now comes rook to e1. Gets the rook into the game with tempo. The queen is now attacked. We have queen to f6, and now without any further preparation, pawn to d5. Not caring about the pawn, because you've now you have rook to e6. You have prepared queen to g4. Also can come now that the fourth rank has been cleared, and there's just no escaping all of the threats here. Gukesh captured on d5, but now queen to g4 with check. King to f8, and now queen to c8 with check. We have bishop to d8, and now, of course, well, I don't have to tell you the winning move. You all see it. The black queen is the only piece defending the bishop on d8, and knight is covering h4, g5. This is covered by the rook. This is covered by the queen. So you merely have to move the black queen off of the f6 square, and you accomplish that by rook to e6. This is what Rapport played, and he was in this position on move 33 that Gukesh resigned, as there is nothing more to be done here. So truly a marvelous example of utilizing the main line of the Giuoco Piano instead of going for the Evans Gambit c3, just completely obliterating Gukesh. And no doubt it's some of the leftovers from the World Chess Championship match, even though it has not been employed even once, as Nepo played, like I said, the Ruy Lopez in every game. But I mean, of course, they prepared at least something against this line. That's why he probably knows it all too well. Because you can't come to the World Chess Championship match and not prepare for the Giuoco Piano, or at least against the Giuoco Piano. It's been played ever since the days of Greco, and it's been played in pretty much all the matches in history in all the World Chess Championships. So you always have to prepare it. Doesn't matter how strong the engines get. We are never escaping the Giuoco Piano. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Very nicely played by Rapport, and I think Rapport is currently top 10 in classical chess, and Gukesh is all the way up to number 13. But in rapid chess, Rapport is actually number 7 in the world, and I don't know. Gukesh is okay. He's a bit lower rated in rapid. I'm guessing he just didn't play as many rapid games because he is, of course, much stronger than 26, 29. But that's why if he continues winning, he will gain that rating. So yeah, that's the game. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Thomas Veterli, Jim Mero O'Toole, Federico Torres Velasco, Dan McCormick, and James Eugene Cashman for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of this wonderful chess league and whatever else happens in the chess world, while checking out your wonderful suggestions. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.